What's going on, YouTube fan? For those wondering, that was my friend Cassandra in the cold open. Today, I'm going to review BFD in Dallas, which features The Offspring and Chevelle. There were 7 bands altogether, but unfortunately I missed the first 2 acts. Although I'm fairly certain I will be seeing Aaron Jones and 0936 later on in the year. Let's start off by talking about the venue, the Equis Pavilion. It's located right by the Texas State Fair, and I like the setup for the pavilion for the concessions. What I don't like is paying $17 for a fucking beer. I typically don't buy alcohol during shows, but I will take in a brew or two if I have seats rather than being in the pit. So for those of you who prefer not to spend your paycheck on a few beers, would be a great idea to pregame. First band I got a chance to see was Mammoth WVH, aka Wolfgang Van Halen's project. He is, of course, the son of the late, great Eddie Van Halen, and the apple does not fall far from the tree. Wolfie is super talented and a pretty good songwriter too, especially with his song to the tribute to his father, Distance. No telling what the future holds for him, but I have a feeling his talent will make him a lot more money in the future. I thought his vocals and guitar playing was pretty on point, and from what I gather from the album that he made, he did all the instruments himself, kind of like Dave Grohl in his first album with the Foo Fighters. But I thought he sounded really good. He played 6 songs altogether, and I'm going to give his performance an A-. Before we get to the next band, I just want to show a clip of this lady with the dog. And what's going on here? Don't get me wrong, I love dogs as much as the next guy, but what's the sense in taking a dog to a show? It's loud as fuck in there, and I'm sure that cannot be very comfortable for the dog's ears. I don't know if she was with the band, like a friend, girlfriend, spouse, or whatever, but what's the point of bringing the dog? Is it for emotional support purposes or what? Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this animal abuse or just someone wanting to bring a dog for fun? Second band up is Candlebox, who are primarily known for their 1993 hits with Far Behind and You. The only original member left with the band is the lead singer, Kevin Martin, and I must admit, I agree with him on this point.
We're all pretty much the same. Been like 3,000 gods since the beginning of time, so I'm not really sure which one's the right one. I just choose to be a good person.
To be fair, I had low expectations going into Candlebox, but I have to admit, they were one of the better bands on the evening. I thought Mr. Martin sounded fantastic, and I wouldn't hesitate seeing them again at a smaller venue here in OKC. I'm going to give Candlebox an A-. Next up is P.O.D. You might remember this Christian metal band with their hits from the early aughts, including Alive and Youth of a Nation. To their credit, their lineup still consists of all original members, which is pretty impressive considering they've been around for close to 30 years. Maybe it was the edibles kicking in or my fourth $17 fucking beer, but I wasn't overly impressed with them. They sounded alright, but I couldn't help to think that the lead singer sounded like a mix of Disturbed and Kid Rock. I'm sure if P.O.D. is your jam, then you would have really loved their show. But me, not so much. I'm going to give them a B-. Co-headlining this show is Chevelle. I've never been a huge fan of Chevelle, but I do casually like their music and was pretty excited to see them perform live, and they did not disappoint. I thought the Loeffler brothers sounded really good on this evening. They ended up playing 13 songs altogether, including 3 from their new album. I've always maintained that unless you're super confident in your new shit, 3 is a solid number to hit for new albums. For me, Self-Destructor actually might be my favorite song of theirs. I'm going to give Chevelle an A-. Before I get into the Offspring's performance, you'd be doing me a huge favor if you hit the like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons. And don't forget, you can always follow me on Facebook at HD's Concert Review. I don't think you can mention 90s rock without mentioning the Offspring. Even though they're probably primarily known for their 2 huge albums, Smash and Americana, they've had continued success into the 21st century. Truth be told, whenever I was in middle school band, we actually played Come Out and Play, so it's got a little sentimental value to me. Their newest single, Let the Bad Times Roll, is pretty solid. They're down to only 2 original members in lead singer Dexter Holland and lead guitarist Noodles, but overall I really like their set. Of the 16 songs they played, only 2 came from their newest album along with their hits. Dexter sounded really good on the mic, and I highly recommend these guys if they're even in your area. My grade for The Offspring is an A. Overall, I'm going to give this show an A-. Pros for this show was The Offspring, Mammoth WVH, and Kevin Martin. The cons, I'm going with that obvious $17 beer and P.O.D. Next time on HD's Concert Review, I'm headed to Chicago to see Guns N' Roses at Wrigley Field, and then I'm going to stick around for a few days for Riot Fest. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your life.